Thanks for coming. My name is MZ. This is Ben Fuchs, and I'm not going to take up any more time.
How many of you have seen this, the Townsend Letter? Awesome, awesome magazine. So I'm just going to read a couple things that just caught my attention from the Townsend Letter. Do I need to tell you, introduce who I am and the whole stuff, the pharmacy stuff, and how I started, blah, blah, blah?
Yes.
Oh, I do?
Yeah.
Oh, I do. Okay. Well, I tell you, we only have about an hour and a half, and there is a ton of information, and my mission is to have you leave with 5, 10, 15 new things that you can incorporate into your life tonight to start to lose weight, to start to have your eczema disappear, to have your skin look better, to never have dry skin again, all beginning tonight once you start to incorporate some of these changes. I've been following this Dietary Supplement Safety Act. Anybody read about this Dietary Safety Act? The government's concerned about our safety. How does that make you feel? They're very concerned. They want us safe. That's right. They want you to be safe. That means no vitamin C. That means no B complex. Because, you know why? This is cool. This is the reason. No, not quite. It's because there have been some athletes that have been taking supplements and having false positives on their steroid tests. Now, we can't have that, so we have to ban supplements. Makes sense to me. Does it make sense to you? No. Right? So that's about to happen. So I've been following it. So what you'll notice is that before something changes, they warm us up a little bit. So they start off real slow. So now you're starting to hear, vitamins don't work. That's just a scam. You don't need, they get you ready for it, right? The latest one is vitamin A causes cancer. If you haven't heard that one, you're about to hear that one. That vitamin A causes cancer. Okay, I had to deal with that one last week because people, most people don't know. Most people don't follow chemistry. You don't want to get your health information from the lay media. Period. You want to get your health information. You want to get your health information from alternative sources. The mainstream sources are vested always. The mainstream sources are always vested, and their vestment is not you or me. Their vestment is themselves. So the mainstream media is the last place you ever want to get health information. Matt Lauer, The Today Show, WebMD. If there's advertising associated with it from mainstream media, from mainstream sources, drug companies, big companies, corporations, you want to be very, very careful. So I get all my health information from alternative sources like this, the Townsend Letter. We live in the internet age now, folks. We want to be our own authorities. We want to be our own doctors. I love that word authorities. You guys hear me talk about authority today? I love that word because it means you're an author. Now, do you want to let somebody else write your story? I don't. I don't. I want to be my own author. And when it comes to our health, there's nothing more important than becoming your own author. Now, when it comes to taking care of your body from a physical standpoint, flat out, from a physical standpoint, there's nothing more important than understanding how to operate your body using nutrition. Yet, there's there's no subject matter that is more filled with bad ideas, ideas that are ancient history, ideas that do not serve us, and that's why we're not as healthy as we should be. And you guys all know in this room, you wouldn't be here if you didn't know that there was a level of health that you could reach that's higher than the level of health you're at now. There's a level of health that you can reach that you're not at now. And it doesn't require much. It simply requires understanding first and then taking advantage of that understanding. And that's what we're going to talk about today. 8 chapters of good nutrition. Now, my specialty is skincare. I'll tell you a little bit about how I started the business and how I got involved. My specialty is skincare. I've been developing skincare products for many years. And so I know a lot about skin. I know a lot about how nutrition affects the skin. I got into nutrition because I saw the changes that were being made in people's skin when they started to take supplements for other things. I was like, oh my God, we have this whole modality that nobody's taking advantage of. And that's when I got into understanding nutrition. So here's my story, and then we're going to get into the meat of the talk here. Now, by the way, I talk fast. You guys know that I talk fast? Right? I try not to. I try to talk slowly. I admire people who talk slowly. Charlie Friedman, who's on after me, he has the coolest slow voice. And I listened to him, and I was like, I want to have a cool slow voice too, but I can't. And sometimes my mind goes faster than my thoughts, or than my mouth. So anyway, I'm a pharmacist, compounding pharmacist, went to pharmacy school at the University of Colorado in Boulder, graduated in 1986. When I was in pharmacy school, I had 2 very special concentrations, if you will. One, something that people don't realize about pharmacists is pharmacists study nutrition. We study nutrition in a very unusual way. We study nutrition as if nutrients were medicines. We don't study nutrition like a dietitian studies it. We don't study nutrition like a nutritionist studies it. We study nutrients as if they are medicines. And we study diseases as if they were nutritional deficiencies. And it turns out that what we call diseases, if you backtrack them far enough, some system, some organ system, some tissue system is not getting fed. It's not getting fed. In fact, when you die, you don't die of heart attack or cancer. You die because your heart didn't get fed. It starved. It died from starvation. We die of starvation. So we study diseases in pharmacy school as if they're nutritional deficiencies, and we study nutrients as if they're medicines. So I left pharmacy school thinking, well, gosh, we have this whole powerful way of working with the body that nobody's really approaching. And on top of that, what we study in pharmacy school is the poisonous nature of drugs. We study drugs as if they were poisons, and make no mistake about it. Your drugs are poisons. And your number one health goal should be, if you're on a prescription drug, to get the heck off of it. Now, there are times you need a prescription drug. I understand that. I told a story last night, and it's a true story. I was in the hospital. I had knee surgery. Anybody ever had knee surgery? All right? There's nothing quite like when you hurt your knee if it's torn up. There's no pain quite like that. And so they wheeled me out of the emergency or out of the operating room after I had my surgery, and I remember this voice. It wasn't my voice, because I was listening to it. I was like, whose voice is that? But the voice went like this. It's coming out of my mouth, too. It went, morphine, morphine, just like that. I'm like, who is that? It was me. It was my body saying, it wasn't saying vitamin C. It was saying pain pills, pain medicine now, and there's times when you need pain medicine. I understand this. I'm not airy-fairy. I'm not Pollyannish about this. But there's no reason anybody should ever be on a drug for a long period of time. That's a doctor giving up. That's a doctor giving up. So there's no reason why anybody should be on a drug for a long period of time. And in pharmacy school, when we're studying the toxicity of these things, how poisonous they are, and by the way, prescription drugs are a leading cause of death. Leading cause of death, and those are the ones we know about. How about the polypharmacy, where people are taking multiple medicine and they get a heart attack? We don't even put that in record keeping. But the fact is, they poison the body. They poison the body to mask symptoms, to falsify. What does it mean to doctor? If you go to the IRS with your IRS tax forms and you say, these are doctored, what would he tell you? It means to falsify, right? So that's our medicine. That's the idea. We'll pretend you're healthy. Here, we'll knock out your swelling system, your immune system, so you don't swell, and you'll pretend you don't have arthritis. In Russia, they used to say, back when it was the Soviet Union, they said, the workers used to say, they pretend to pay us, we pretend to work. Just like that.